Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. These are the three cards in the Autumn Abundance September 2024 paper pumpkin kit. Those are going to be our two alternatives. That one is going to be a fun fold. And again, everything will be over on the blog at cindybdesigns.com. Direct link in this YouTube description on over there. This is a really cool card kit. Paper pumpkin kit. I love the colors in it. I'm not a big Cajun craze person, but they all work beautifully, especially that second pattern there. And there's 9 cards. You do 3 each of each design, and the colors are Cajun craze, crumb cake, crushed curry, early espresso, night of navy, pecan pie, poppy parade, pumpkin pie, very vanilla, and wild wheat, and copper too. That leaf I just showed you and the leaf I'm picking up now, they are the exact same leaf. So if you run out of copper pieces, you can just take our copper foil cardstock and cut more. That is the stamp set that comes with the kit. No line art this time around, but there is the snail in there with that little round ball you saw, and I don't know what its head called, but you get all that ephemera in the paper pumpkin kit. And a lot of these kits are mainly just adhering, some stamping. There's but there's more stamping to the kits lately that I've noticed that's really cool. And then you have banners for your sentiments and just different color leaves and everything like that. That is going to be our 4x4 card. And not necessarily a fun fold, but it has some good dimension to it. That card base there full of tree rings and copper accents. And we get all the envelopes with it. On the inside, they're going to have just regular cardstock in there. And then on the outside, they're going to have that pattern on the back of the envelope flap there. And I really love the pre-printed card bases that we get there because there's so much you can do with the alternatives. And you also get a Cajun Craze ink cube with that. So yeah, I've got my emotional support TV noise in the background. So that is what our first card looks like that comes out of the kit. And you open that right up, and then you can write your sentiment in the middle there. And that is what the second one looks like. And that has some good dimension to it too. I was able to use the back and the front of the card base for my alternatives, and I ran out of that one. And then for our third one there, just those great leaves that we have and that tree ring cardstock. Now for next month's paper pumpkin kit, that coordinates beautifully with Nest of Winter, the sweet collection, so you might want to pick that up. And the dies for October, November, and December, they're available to you now. I will have all that for you over on the blog at Cindy B Designs. So our first card, Fenfold, that's going to be a side folding A2 card base in Poppy Parade. And then I cut down a card to 4 by 5 1/4. And our Fenfold panel there, you want to cut that to 3 by 5 1/2, and then score it 1. And you can see where I put the tear and tape on the back of that. And the designer series paper, again, go on over to the blog and get those measurements. I'm pulling in pumpkin pie in one of those leaves. I'm going to stamp it off 3 times. And if I had to redo this, I do the sentiment and put it together. And if you want to case this, move that leaf there over to the left a little bit so they have different angles. And for the sentiment, I'm going to use this one on both cards. That's going to go down in Night of Navy ink. And I was really happy not having to bring my Stamparatus in this time around because I was able to get what I wanted to from the silicone mat there. I did buy that Sizzix. I'm going to send it back. It does not do well with rubber stamps. So I'm, still on the hunt for that. So this card was really, really easy to make. And I got really distracted too coming up, but it did work out. And you hear this with every video of mine, but I mean, nothing ever turns out perfect, and especially not with this one here. So I'm putting liquid adhesive on the back of the card base that we cut down to go on top of or the kit card base to go on top of the card base that we cut. And I put 2 mini Stampin' initials that come with the kit on the back of that gold or copper foil leaf there, and I'm going to adhere our sentiment to that, and then add 3 Stampin' initials onto the back of that and pop it down. And this, like I said, don't get intimidated over fun folds. They're really easy to make. If you have the measurements down, you're absolutely good to go. So while I am getting all this put together, Wednesday, YouTube Live, I will do our third alternative card. I've been playing around with that a lot and feel confident about doing that, unlike what happens right about here, because yeah, never used that before, and it's a couple years old. You want to warm it up a little bit in your hand, and it took a while to clean up that mess because I wanted to use, the copper enamel accents rather than the sequins there. But copper and copper, it matches up. That cord there, that is not copper cord. It is actually the rose gold cord from last month's paper pumpkin. And I thought it was copper, but when I put it all together, it matches perfectly, believe it or not. I mean, you can barely tell. So that is how far these kits stretch and use up what's in there. Got that bow down, snipping off the ends. And so I have my embellishments there. And again, simple card. And after that mess there, I got distracted. I originally wanted what you see on the left of the card there on top of that, but it still works out because when you look at it at the end, you know that you have to open up the flap or else it's going to come open on its own. So that piece of cardstock there, I cut down to 2 3/4 by 4 1/2 and adhere that to the top of the flap. Now look how I get this adhered. I fold it over and then close the card. I'm going to check it left and right, make sure I measured, and it lined up perfectly. And then get that closed, and that way nothing gets all wonky on you. You have a really good fold there. So the inside of that card, that is going to measure, that is basic white cardstock. No, it's very vanilla. That's going to measure 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm taking the Night of Navy ink pad again, putting our sentiment at the top. And then I pull that crushed curry leaf out of the ephemera pack in the kit. I'm putting some liquid adhesive on the back of that there, popping it to the left, and then I'm going to get it adhered to our card base. So for the paper pumpkin dies for the next 3 months, I'm pretty sure I said this at the beginning of the video. I'm not sure, but they're available to you now, and go ahead and pick them up. That info, again, will be over on the blog, and there's different ways you can fold that card right there. And that was it for the first card. For the second one, this is one of my favorite sketches, especially when I'm using wreaths or any kind of focal point that I want to bring out. Those are 2 of the wreaths, half wreaths in the paper pumpkin kit. And I'm going to end up putting them together, and I'm doing some Stampin' off again. This time with both of the leaves and wild wheat. There's a large and a small leaf there. I'm stamping that off 3 times. And I get kind of like that blotchy, watercolory look a little bit, which I like. It's something that either you like it or you don't, or it's okay. But this kind of gives me a chance to create my own designer series paper a little bit without having to go through the entire kit for other alternatives I want to make. And so I'm just getting all of those leaves down. And I'm doing 5 of each. But back to next Wednesday live, noon. And I've been practicing with that. The fear is over. It's just the personal fear. It's getting the equipment together. Not together, but making sure it all works. I am not very tech savvy at all. I'm a few fries short of a Happy Meal when it comes to that. So it's just going to be a big wing it. So I took 2 of those half wreaths and I'm putting them together with liquid adhesive. And then I'm going to pop on some mini Stampin' initials on the back of that. So while I'm putting all that together, we have a new corporate year starting October 1st. I'm going to be making some changes, very positive ones, by the way. So be sure to sign up for my newsletter. So that's a really reliable way of me to get information to you as opposed to talking about it while we're trying to create. And I will get all that sorted out for you. And I guess I did have to bring my Stamparatus in. That is my third arm, and I'm going to keep using it. If you have yours, keep it. I've seen some on eBay, so go ahead and pick one up if you need to. I'm still going to keep looking just in case. So right there, I'm trying to figure out what sentiment I'm going to use, and I really needed something bigger for the inside, so that's why I had to go back to the sentiment from the kit. And I say this every video, I really try to keep the products from outside of the kit that you have to bring in. I limit that to either embellishments, cardstock, or ink pads, because we all collect the cubes and all the kits have some kind of embellishment or twine or something like that in them. So that way, if you're just a pumpkin pie subscriber only, you're going to have all of this available to you. Just pull together your kits and see what you can do. And I meant to talk about how easy it is to open and close the ink pads there, but I showed you, but didn't get around to it. So I cut that little piece of pecan pie paper to, about a 1/2 inch or 3/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm pulling off the tear and tape I put on the left-hand side of our image panel there. And I want to leave like a little teeny tiny sliver of that. And when I adhere it to the card base on top of that wood grain pattern that we have there, it just really splits it up and it's very pretty. And throughout this card here, I still have that metallic enamel copper stuff all over my nails and my fingers, and it went pretty much on the front of this card here. But it blended in with a wild wheat, which was a very, very nice, happy surprise. Got my Stampin' Dimensionals on the back, and I did not put this in the supply list, but that is a basic beige cardstock base, and that is cut to an A2 top folding, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I want to make sure that I'm going to put that little piece of card base there from the kit on the left hand side, and that it's going to fold upwards rather than down because I do that a lot. And then flip and turn that around, pull off the adhesive from the back of that panel, and then get that adhered to the card base. We are getting into the home stretch here of basically just adhering all of our elements down. The wreath is going to go down over the sentiment there, and then I'm going to pop another gold or copper cord, rose gold bow on the top, or the bottom there. But one of the changes I'm going to be making is a free paper pumpkin kit to one of you every month. Leave a comment. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow me and all that good stuff. And I'll do a drawing once a month for each kit, but you have to leave a comment here, or better yet, over on the blog, so that way I can do like a monkey drawing with it. And be sure to sign up for my newsletter. That is the best way to communicate with me, or shoot me off an email. Facebook at cindybdesigns, Instagram. I'm not good at Pinterest, but see, that's part of next year, or October 1st is getting way better with my social media, because at this point in time I really have to reach out to you more. So those are the cards in the kit once again. And then coming up are the 2 cards that we made today. Both very simple, and I really liked how that lined up on top and just that pattern all together. I wish I had more of those card bases there to do more alternatives with, but I'm sure that I'll be able to find something, even if it's with those colors and the images, the leaves in the stamp set. So I do thank you for joining me today. I hope that all my friends in the South are safe. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you again on Wednesday.